It's never too late for a new beginning in your life. Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine. Today we are going to start fifth poem of our English Behive book, A Legend of the Northland, written by Phoebe Carey. Phoebe Carey was born on 4th September 1824 and died on 31st July 1871. She was an American poetess and the younger sister of Alice Carey. These sisters co-published poems in 1849 and then each went to publish volumes of their own. Carey occasionally attended school. She often had to work at home and hence was largely self-educated. Her mother died in 1835 and 2 years later her father married again. Phoebe died of hepatitis and was buried in New York. After the death of both sisters, a joint anthology of their poems was also completed. Let's have an introduction of our poem, A Legend of the Northland. This is a simple poem with a moral. It teaches us that we should not be greedy. We must help the poor and hungry people. One day, Saint Peter was hungry after the day's fasting. He saw a woman making cakes. He asked her for one. The woman was very greedy. She made a very small and thin cake for Saint Peter. But she did not want to part with even this cake. Saint Peter became angry. He cursed the woman to be changed into a bird. She became a woodpecker and she flew out of the chimney. She still lives in the wood and keeps boring the trees for wood. Now, let's read the summary of the poem. In this poem, the poetess tells us a story. It is a story of the Northland. At that time, Saint Peter lived on the earth. He used to go round the world and preach in his typical manner. One day, he came to a cottage. He saw a woman making cakes. Saint Peter had fasted for the whole day, so he was hungry and tired. He asked the woman to give him a cake from her store of cakes. The woman was greedy. She made a very small cake for the saint. But when the cake was baking, she thought that it was too large to give away. So she made another one which was smaller even than the first. But when it was ready, she thought that it was also too big to be given. So she made a very small and very thin cake for him. But as she was greedy, she did not want to part with even this cake. She placed it on the shelf. Saint Peter saw this and grew angry. He told her, "You are very selfish. You do not deserve to live in the world in human form. You do not deserve food, shelter, and fire to keep you warm." He cursed her to be changed in a bird. She became a woodpecker and flew out of the chimney. In the end, the poetess says that every school-going boy has seen her in the wood. She still lives there in the trees. She keeps boring trees for her food all day. Now, let's discuss the theme of the poem. Very often, we get a lot of moral teachings from legends. They help to learn things from the past. Those ideas help to reform society. In this poem, we come across a man who is in dire need of food. He visits a cottage to ask for food, but the woman of the cottage fails to provide him with any. So he curses the woman for her selfish behavior. The need to treat our guest with affection is emphasized here. Students, now we will understand the title of the poem. The title of the poem clearly states that the poem is about a legend from the cold region of Northland. Like every legend, it is a story passed on from generation to generation and believed to be true even though there is no evidence to establish its truth. The title is appropriate as it introduces the narrative form of the story, which is to impart moral values. The place where the action of the story takes place is also clearly mentioned in the title. Hence, the title stands appropriate for launching a mythological tale. Now, in our next video, we will start reading our poem.